A Super Bowl. Super Bowl. Super Bowl. Super Bowl. You got 'em popping at a cap and make sure you are watching Super Bowl. Super Bowl. Deep in a trance, FC does a dance. It's the Super Bowl, so you better take a chance. Super Bowl. Super Bowl. Super Bowl. You got 'em popping at a cap and make sure you are watching Super Bowl.
What is this, right? What is this? For real, to see your teeth hit the floor.
Hablar no es lo mismo, ¿no?
Thirsty, trying to choose. I mean, I know I'm critical. My nitty bag, my kitty boots. I got the juice, I got the juice.
10-0, Chatham's on. Foolies glad I'm home. Even my haters kinda glad I'm on. Rest in peace to my vagabond. Rapper, song, singer, suspended, subpoenaed for misdemeanors. Dreamer, held back asses, Loki still a zen. And I still shake a boat squad. Praying for my broke but city on the come up. Shot that nigga Sosa. Shot my nigga Fat Trail. Shot my nigga Joseph. Playing Buenos Aires while they sleep in Buenos Noches. Wonder if I wrote this, cause it's so crisp. The most brokest gold stockbroker when I solstice. I could win an Oscar. Russian accent Hosky.
Return for cap, yes, no, maybe so.
OJ dude with the TagPro escort. It's gonna allow him to get out past 4. LeBron James coming into base with a game-winning cap with just 12 seconds left, bringing home the victory.
Get sniped by your own teammate. See the spawn when it's too late. Get yourself juked in a too wide space. Mistake a sunball for an AFK. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Miss the flag when you're out past 4, or fall for the old matador. Bomb yourself into a spike. during playoffs become unsportsmanlike. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Make sure you avoid the boost. Get sniped from a backward boost. Make a sacrifice on a TagPro lead. Kiss your cousin where you both agreed. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Disconnect when you're in your own end. An enemy with the TagPro is not your friend. Chase FC in the glory hole. Maybe a boost that you can't control. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Fall for the old tricks of mind control. Try to cap 3 times so you can troll. Blame lucky spammer for a broken game. Have a teammate finish you off when you get lucky. Somehow fail to hit the spikes. They may not rhyme, but they're quite possibly the dumbest ways to die. The dumbest ways to die. The dumbest ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Be safe around spikes. A message from the Mappin' and Fappin' crew.
Going to try for a crit bomb, and he pulls it off, and he's got 2-on-1 blocks, but Crippy coming in from behind. Dino is going to have to boost and he's got it! Splitting the defenders for the 3rd cap! It's a couple. Sharantino going to get returned. It's all on Matrix to stay alive here. Turbo lighting up the snipe. He's got it! Oh no! The Bruce pushes. LeBron James there. 13 has got the block. LeBron James still has the cap, and now it's 7-6.
Well, welcome guys to the Super Bowl here on MLTP Live. It's the game that we've been waiting for all season long, and it's finally upon us as we watch the Merballs take up face off against LagProne. I'm Ron Sponson here to provide you guys some play-by-play commentary, and I'm joined with the special analysis desk tonight, as well as Liquid for some color commentary.
Hey guys, we have one hell of a matchup ahead of us. The biggest game of the season, potentially the biggest game in the history of TagPro. So stay tuned. We've got some exciting stuff for you guys. Now to start off, we'd like to take a quick look at the numbers here.
So if we look at the Merballs, they're coming into this game 14-4-2, first in the West, and we've got LagProne with a record of 11-7-2. Look at their hold percentages. We see Merballs has a significant lead with their hold percentage, and LagProne appears to have a slight edge in the power-up percentage. So it'd be interesting to see how that factors in with these players tonight.
Yeah, speaking of players, on Merballs, we've got Dino leading the way so far. This season he's been putting up great numbers, but he's been doing this now for 9 seasons in MLTP. Back when he joined in Season 1 for the Co-Sinners, in that span of time he's managed to win 3 Super Bowls, all of which he was captain for. And this season he's putting himself in a good position to get a 4th.
Yes, he has. He's got a 9.8 offensive gasp. He's 4th in caps in the entire season, 2nd in hold, and 4th in grabs.
Now, Troball, this guy is arguably the best player of all time, and you've actually faced off against him a few times this season. Now, if you're LagProne, how do you defend against a player like this?
Well, the few times we've gone against him, the only time we've been able to pull off a win is just by playing smart, consistent. Dano doesn't make many mistakes at all. He can do everything. He can block, snipe, play offense, defense. So you just have to hope to get lucky, win a power up against him, and put yourself in an advantageous position. But you can't make many mistakes. That's a tough question.
Right. And partnering him up front keeps things tough. It's Mr. Hat. He's in his rookie season so far in MLTP, and he's impressed a lot. Nobody saw him coming. This guy is the offensive rookie of the season. Some amazing numbers himself.
Yes, he has. He's got a 9.9 OGAS for the season. He's second in caps in the league, fourth in hold, and third in grabs.
Now, again, Troball, this guy, Mr. Hat, he's got quite a bit of skill, but some may say that he lacks experience. As I said, this is a rookie season in MLTP. Now, as a captain, do you think this guy has what it takes to come up in the clutch?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's slippery. He plays offense incredibly smart. Last week, you may have seen a little bit of his inexperience showing through, but with practice and running through these playoff games, I think he's going to be able to play his best today.
Now, on defense for the Merballs, impressively enough, we've got Legman, who's managed to do his transition from O to D perfectly. This is actually his 5th season in MLTP, but 1st season as a defender. And he's in this span of time, he's managed to win not only a Super Bowl, but 2 MVP awards. And in fact, he's the only player in TagPro history to have won the MVP on both offense and on defense. So this guy has been putting up some giant stats again on defense this season.
Yeah, he's just been dynamite this season. He's got a perfect 10 D-gasp. He's first in the prevent in the entire league, third in returns, and somehow managed to get 16 caps as well.
Yeah, this guy just can do it all. This guy's an amazing two-way player, and speaking of good two-way players, we've got Raven here with us, another player who can play both on offense and on defense. Now, Raven, what do you think this guy does that other two-way players just can't seem to live up to? How about you, Troball?
Yeah, I mean, that's what's really scary about Legman, is that he's arguably the best offensive player in the game, and he switched over to defense just like for fun. But he's always thinking one step ahead of everyone else. He's always able to put himself in the right place at the right time. There really isn't anything that he can't do. So he's just dangerous in all aspects of the game.
For sure. Yeah, he's going to be one hell of a defender to contend with for LagProne. And the other guy who makes this pairing so dangerous is RB Bear, another player who's joined his 4th season in Major League TagPro. He joined back in Season 6 on Ballrenthes, and since then, he's managed to put up some really good stats. In fact, in Season 7, he was a finalist for the Defensive Team Ball Award, and he had a good shout for it again this season with his statistics.
Yes, he did. RB Bear at 9.7 D-gas, and he is second in prevent, with partnered with Legman, who is first in prevent. So the two of them are lead the league in prevent. And RB Bear also is 11th in returns and had 14 caps as well.
Now, Troball, this guy, he's a good defender. As I said, he's been consistently good. He's been consistently putting up elite numbers season after season, but he's been stuck on some pretty average Eastern teams. Now, this season, he's been able to put up some top-tier stats on a top-tier team. What was the difference maker to allow him to flourish this season into the player he's become?
Yeah, well, like you said, he's been a star in his own right. You watch him for just 2 minutes and you can tell how mechanically sophisticated he is and how he can track down anybody. But now this season on the Merballs, all the pieces just kind of fell into place. Playing with Legman and Dino and Hat, he's finally got the group of people that he's been wanting to play with for a very long time, and they brought him all the way here. Now we'll see if they can finish.
Yeah, they're going to definitely make it difficult for LagProne's offense, but LagProne's offense is definitely no slouch either. You got LeBron James here, a player who joined back in Season 6. In fact, he was playing in Novice League at the time for Jukes for Jesus. This is his 2nd season in Major League TagPro, and in both of these seasons, he's been really impressive. This season, he's been one of arguably the best offensive players in the league, winning the 2nd place for the Offensive MVP award.
Yeah, LeBron James has just been putting up dynamite stats this season. He's got the 10 OGAS, and he leads the league in caps, leads the league in hold, and he leads the league in number of grabs as well.
Now, Troball, as a captain, you've seen a lot of players rise through the ranks from novice to majors to minors to majors, and LeBron is a perfect example of that. He started his career off in novice, transitioned into an elite minors player and then into an elite majors player. What are the kind of attributes or skills that this guy has that have been able to translate throughout all these different levels of play and turn him into an elite player that we have today?
I think the biggest thing that sets LeBron James apart from everybody else is he will always do the unanticipated thing. So the juke that he'll do, the boost route that he chooses, if you don't have a strategy of your own, he sets his own strategy. He always has the initiative whenever he's playing. So you have to respond to what he does. And that's one thing that's been able to carry him through every different level of TagPro. And he's kept that and gotten better at it.
I guess, yeah, that definitely makes him dangerous. Now, playing alongside LeBron Star James, we've got the wise one. This guy he's in his rookie major season. He actually played, it's his second season in competitive TagPro, playing for Marble Madness last season on the minors team. And an interesting fact about him, he was a defender last season. He actually got the 10 DGASP in minors, then transitioned into majors, transitioned into offense, and won third place for the Offensive Team Ball Award. So this guy somehow has been able to flawlessly transition his game into an elite majors offensive player.
Yeah, and it's been a wise transition indeed with a 9.5 OGASP. He's 6th in caps in the league, 11th in hold, and 15th in grabs.
So now, Trobal, you've had experience facing off against a player like I'm High, who kind of mirrored the wise one in this kind of transition. Back in Season 5, I'm High played defense on the minors team for the KG Ballers, transitioned to offense in majors in Season 6, and obviously the rest is history. The guy proved himself to be one of the most dominant offensive players in the modern era of TagPro. Do you think the wise one has what it takes to follow in his footsteps?
Yeah, I mean, he showed last season that he's an elite player, that he can definitely hold it down on defense. But I think what everybody saw in the league this season was with Legman switching over, with Grief playing offense and doing it well, that a good TagPro player is just a good TagPro player. And the wise one was able to make the switch with a good supporting cast with the rest of LagProne, and has been putting up great numbers, been helping LeBron get the flag out of base and cap when they need to.
Now you're talking about good TagPro players. On defense for LagProne, we've got Turbo, who's consistently been one of, if not the best defensive player in MLTP. This guy joined back in Season 3 for the Co-Sinners, and he's currently in his 7th season in majors. In these 7 seasons, he's been a finalist for the Defensive MVP award 5 times, and he's actually won it twice. And this time, again, this season, he's been putting up some monster stats once again.
Yeah, the experience shows in his stats. Turbo with a 9.9 DGASP over the season. He's 2nd in returns in the league. He's 6th in prevent, and he also was able to get 5 caps.
So now, Turbo, this guy is another guy who, like you, managed to make it to the Super Bowl twice in his career, but also, like you, he hasn't managed to get that elusive Super Bowl title yet. Now, do you think he's managed to change his game or keep his game at a high enough level to pull it off tonight?
Yeah, there was a time when, not fairly recently, where people thought Turbo was done, or he wasn't all there. He wasn't the Turbo of seasons past, but he's really come out and showed that he's got it, and he's got it better than ever. And after losing a couple Super Bowls, this is time 3 for him. This is his 3rd chance, and we'll see if the 3rd time would be the charm.
And finally, leading the way for LagProne, their captain, Ballymandius. This guy joined back in Season 5. He played novice at the time for DSC, and he led them to a Super Bowl championship. Now he's currently in his 4th season in majors, and he's proven himself to be one of the most consistent defenders, but also one of the greatest leaders in competitive TagPro. So this guy clearly putting up a good bid to get this first Super Bowl championship.
Yes, he has been. He's got a 9.5 DGASP this season. He's 15th in returns, 10th in prevent in the league, and also managed to squeak by 3 caps as well.
Now, this guy, Trobal, you've seen these guys before. Guys who know how to win just know how to win. Whatever level they're at, they are proven winners. Now, this guy's a proven winner in Novice League. He's been a proven winner with his teams in major leagues. But the question is, can he transfer that Super Bowl championship kind of clutch success into tonight's Super Bowl?
Yeah, well, that's the million-dollar question. Bali has a way about going about things. That he gets everybody on the same page. He does the play calling. He figures out when and where everyone needs to be. Now that style has worked pretty well for him. It's got him all the way through here, and they beat some tough teams in the playoffs. Now it's the test to see if that is his system and if his team's approach is enough to overcome the Merballs.
Now, definitely, he's going to have a huge influence on his team's playstyle, and he has so far this season. Every season for LagProne with Volley in charge, they've played a very calculated, disciplined playstyle. It's something that he's managed to ingrain a very strict game plan and get his team to buy into it and follow it, and it's really helped them out in the latter part of the season. They started off a bit shaky, but once they got into their rhythm, got into the swing of things, and figured out what worked best for them, that's when they started performing. That's when their players started sticking with what they did best. The defenders played defense, the offensive players stick to offense, and that's when they started really playing that rigid play style and carrying their team. Now, it's interesting because, well, that has been a really successful formula for them. On the other side of the field, we've got the Merballs, who tend to play pretty much a polar opposite playstyle, a more intuitive, free-flowing, maybe some might call it a play-it-by-ear type of playstyle, in that they go with the flow and they position themselves where they need to play. So the defenders won't always be playing defense, as evidenced by that Legman and RB Bear have between them. They can carry the flag if needed, and same thing for offense. Dino and Mr. Hat are more than capable of sticking back on defense when required, and that kind of tactical flexibility has really helped them out throughout the season and has landed them in the position they are tonight. Now, the question is, LagProne have played against teams like this before. You could argue that the Base Gods in the Eastern Conference were very similar in playstyle to the Merballs, and Base Gods were decimated 10-2 earlier in the season by LagProne. So the question is, Trobal, do you think Merballs, what do you think they have to change, or what do you think they have to do to counter this kind of playstyle from LagProne?
Yeah, well, I think that really is the question that we're going to find out is, will the very disciplined, balanced approach somehow overcome the more free-flowing, kind of street TagPro that the Merballs pull. And the thing when I watch it, when you're playing the way the Merballs do, if things are clicking for you, if things are going right, then they go really right. Then you'll be really dominant, everything will look good, people will step up in big, unconventional scenarios, and you'll be able to make plays that you otherwise wouldn't be able to get away with. The downside of that, though, if you get a little bit disrupted, or if you're not quite in your game, or maybe it's a high-stress event with a lot of people watching, and your natural inclinations start to fail you, then you can start to get frustrated. Then you might have a hard time figuring out ways to crack open the enemy or your opponent's defense. So if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it really doesn't. Whereas the style that I've gone about playing is the more disciplined play style, where everybody knows what they should be doing in any particular role, that it tends to stay the same no matter which team you're playing or what the stakes are.
Yeah, so I guess that makes sense. And you've trained your teams to play a very disciplined play style typically. I mean, you've spent 4 seasons captaining, and your teams have had a lot of success playing at a more smart, risk-averse play style that's based on a strict game plan that you follow, and you practice. And that's what they've been doing so far, LagProne, this week. They've been practicing nonstop, tirelessly, trying to get that game plan in them. So here's to hoping that can pay off for them. Now, tonight we've got a few key rivalries going into the matchup.
Yeah, the first one we want to look at is Dino versus LeBron James, who are both arguably the 2 best offensive players in the league this season. And we're looking at their play style and how it contrasts a little bit. If we look at Dino, he's definitely a little bit more patient, willing to make sure that he's got the right opportunity before he commits to something. Whereas LeBron is coming in with that element of risk to his play. You can see that evidence in his stats, as he's got the highest number of grabs in the league, which is also translated to the highest number of caps. So it'll be interesting to see when we look at this patience from Dino versus the risk from LeBron, how that will play out between the 2 players.
Now, the second rivalry, the second big thing we want to look at tonight, it's going to be a matchup all game long. We've got Legman versus Turbo, who this season have proven themselves to be 2 of the most dominant athletes. And that has been off the strength of not only their mechanical skill, but also their positional awareness. These guys are 2 of the defenders who have the most prevent and the most tags in the league. And you can't just chalk that up to mechanical skill, because highly skilled players, let's face it, they're a dime a dozen in majors. It's all about awareness, and these guys are smarter. They are smart cookies. They know where to be, they know where to position themselves, and they know when, mostly, to take these risks. And I think that's really what these teams need. Whichever one of these players can step up bigger is going to be huge, especially on the maps that we're playing that tend to be offensive. That's where the defense shines through, and the better defender is going to be able to carry his team to victory.
Now our last key rivalry is Mr. Hat versus the Wise One. Both of these guys are rookies. Neither one of them have been to the Super Bowl before, but they're both tremendously talented. They have the potential for great promise, and since you might see some very nice moves from them. But they also, more than anybody, if you're looking for somebody to possibly make a mistake that might hurt their team, if I'm the enemy captain, this is the person I'm looking for to get a move over on. So keep an eye on when you're watching the game. There's always a lot happening, but see if these people are making clutch plays, or if sometimes they may be dropping or doing something that they shouldn't.
Speaking of doing something that they shouldn't, the first map that was picked for the game tonight was picked by the Merballs, and it will be Wormy. Now, if we look at the records, Merballs have gotten 2 wins on this map, as have LagProne.
Now, this map is typically viewed as a more offensive styled map. It's very slow paced in that once the flag gets out, it tends to stay out for long periods of times. And that leads to very difficult resets. And as I was mentioning earlier with Legman and Turbo, the defense is where it's going to shine through. The team that can get the most consistent or even just the most clutch resets on this map, those clutch returns are going to be huge to getting those caps, because let's face it, with flag carriers like LeBron, Dino, even you could include YS1 and Mr. Hat in there, flag carriers who have between them probably the most hold of any flag carrier pairings in the league. The flag's going to be almost the dime, and the defense is where it's going to be. Now, Trobal, as a captain, you've obviously encountered this map in many seasons in competitive TagPro, so you kind of know your way around it. If you had to pick away, what would you say is the best way to get resets on this map?
Yeah, I think everybody's had the same frustration when you're trying to work back and get the flag reset, and they just keep slipping through your fingers every time you go. What you really need is fantastic communication between who's ever chasing after them. You need to decide on a game plan, what your approach is going to be. Are you both going to rush in? Are you going to hang back? And then the best way to get a reset is to just hit a really dang blind snipe. Sometimes that's the best move, is to boost into space and hopefully work out the timing. So, oh yeah, I think they might be over here, and then just go over there and go catch them from off screen, because otherwise the flag carrier has so much room to work with, a lot of different ways to kind of meander into base. So you got to keep communicating, and you just got to sometimes just take some crazy risks.
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Trobal. The second map that we're going to be playing on tonight is Velocity. This one was chosen by LagProne. Their record on this map is 1 win and 1 loss, and the Merballs have gotten 2 wins on this map.
Now, this again is another map that's pretty offensive, but unlike Wormy, this is one that's very fast-paced, with the boost lanes and the boost paths that you can get on this map that are really probably the map with the most flexible boosts in the game at this point. It's going to be a lot of quick counter caps. We're going to counter plays really easily, because you can boost from base to base in about 3 seconds flat. These teams are aware of a map that really rewards skill, with players like Turbo and Legman, with players who have high skill like LeBron and Mr. Hat. These guys will be absolutely reveling in this map, and it's a map that's going to reward the team that has the most skill and that's able to show it off in the most consistent manner. Now, on a map like this is a map that's been featured in multiple Super Bowls and multiple playoff games before. It's pretty much a staple of competitive TagPro. The Merballs are going to have to, find a way to unlock that sturdy defense that Turbo and Ballymandius have been able to put together this season. Now, Trobal, do you think they have a game plan going into this, or will it just be more of a play-by-ear kind of deal where you try to pick at their weaknesses until they finally crack?
I think if you're the Merballs, and you've already played on this map so much, you've already figured out all the different ways that you're going to approach, when to attack, how to get the flag out of base. It just comes down to a matter of executing it effectively and doing it better than the other teams. You got to keep them always off balance, always in better position. So I guess we'll see if you can. This is kind of a known map, but we'll see how people execute. Can they actually get the flag out of base, and will they make mistakes in trying to cap or in failing at it?
Now, in the event that the teams split the first 2 maps, we'll be heading on to our third map of the evening, which is going to be Iron. This one was selected by the Merballs, who have 1 win and 1 loss on this map during the regular season, and LagProne is coming in with 2 wins.
Yeah, LagProne definitely performed well on this map, and I'm not surprised. This is a very defensive map that rewards defense. Now, unlike both Wormy and Velocity, this one has very easy resets. Not only resets that are easy to get, but resets that are easy to maintain. So a defense that has good chemistry, especially like the 2 partnerships that we're seeing tonight with both Turbo and Bali, but also Legman and RB. They've worked together so well this season, and this is a map that's going to make it so difficult for the offense to get out. I kind of don't envy their position at all. LeBron, the wise one, Mr. Hat, and Dino are going to have to work extra hard to try to get out on this map. And whichever offensive pairing manages to get out more consistently is probably the one that's going to be the game changer for their team. And that's really where we're going to see which team has the quality to shine through. If it does, in the event of a Game 3, if things go to Game 3, then the team that has the best overall quality, both on defense and offense, that's the ultimate test of their quality. Now, Troball, we were talking about how LeBron tends to have a more risk-friendly, risk-loving playstyle. In fact, it's shown by the fact that he completely shattered the grab record this season, leading the league in grabs by a pretty wide margin. Do you think that grabby playstyle will give LagProne the edge on this map?
Well, if they go into OT on this map, and everybody's going to be pretty tense going into Game 3 here, LeBron grabs more than anybody has a right to. He'll go for it. But on Iron, a lot of times there aren't a lot of good opportunities to get the flag out of base. So you have to push it. You have to keep the initiative and make them respond to you, and hopefully open something up for your partner, catch a nice booster bomb, or get a regrab or block. But the first thing you need to do is get the flag out of base. So if we go into Game 3, you can count on LeBron to grab at least 20 times. I would, if that didn't happen, I would be shocked. But what matters is what he does with those 20 grabs. Does he grab it, run into a corner, and get popped, or does he get some space? Is he able to get past two? So it'll just be selective aggression, making sure that he's grabbing at the right times, and that he's able to do it effectively against a really, really good defensive combo.
Now, this season, we were talking about the three maps, Wormy, Velocity, and Iron. In previous seasons, the maps that would, the way the maps would be picked would be either by community vote, or the rules committee or commissioners would outright just pick the maps for the playoffs. This season, the rules committee came up with they launched a new approach, which would be the pick ban system, where both teams would line up and pick some maps they want and ban other maps they don't want, and the remaining selection of maps would be the ones that they would be played. And so, in fact, the selection of three maps that we see tonight, Wormy, Velocity, and Iron, are actually maps that were selected by the captains and by the teams that we're seeing playing tonight. Now, as a captain yourself, Troball, and you experienced this firsthand in the playoffs, do you think that this is an improvement over the conventional playoff map selection system?
Yeah, definitely. Anytime the two teams have a fair shot of choosing what they like and banning what they don't, I think you get more variety, and you get maps that people want to play on, more so than just having everybody play on something that we all mutually maybe we're okay with, but not tremendously happy with. And we see this in other esports where they do more of a pick ban system. And I'm really glad that we're doing it. I think most people enjoy it.
Their first two bans before the picks happened were Pilot and Thinking with Portals. Now, Pilot makes sense. Pilot's been by far LagProne's strongest map so far this season, both in the regular season and in the playoffs. Thinking with Portals is a bit more of a perplexing decision. Do you think what do you think the reasoning was? Do you think they were afraid of LagProne being too good, or was that just not their map?
I think they can respect LagProne on that map too, but funny things can happen on that map. And if you think that you're the better team, and that you're going to be able to win on a more conventional map that has fewer variables or fewer strange things happening on it, then you get rid of it just because it's a high probability that the best team might not necessarily win on it. So I can understand where they're coming from and wanting to get rid of Thinking with Portals. Yeah,
and in fact, it seems like LagProne were pretty similar in their mindset. They took away Emerald, which is arguably the most exciting new map we've seen this season, and they also banned Rush. All the new maps from this season were banned, and I think that's why we kind of ended up with a map lineup that resembles the lineups of old, maps that have been tried and tested, that have been proven in the competitive scene in Wormy, Velocity, and Iron. They've been around the block. Both teams know how to play it inside and out, and as you said, it's probably the best maps where the best teams will win. If there's no sort of gimmicky, fluky stuff going on, it's just plain old TagPro the way we like it. Now, Ron, I think we do have a little bit of a special announcement.
Oh, that's right. This is the final chance for our viewers to participate in the Jump Up Halftime Challenge. That's right. We're coming back with it once more for the finale for the Super Bowl, and we've changed it up a little bit. It's not going to be your standard jump up game. for the Super Bowl, we decided we wanted to go big or go home and really just take it to the next step. And what we've done is we've doubled the amount of contestants. Rather than having 3 people play, we're going to have 6 players during this Jump Up Halftime Challenge. And to compensate for that, we're also going to double the length of the event. It's going to be a 2-minute challenge now with the 6 players. So it's going to be a really exciting event, and we've never done it before with this many people on stream. So I'm really looking forward to see how it comes out. But let me tell you what, you viewers can participate. What we've done is we're taking our top 5 scorers out of the entire season. So this is the best of the best. But if you'll see, there's one more spot here for the 6th viewer, and that can be anyone who's watching this stream right now. All you have to do is hit that follow button. Our bot will only select you if you are a follower of MLTP Live, and then type _jump in chat. That's _jump. And that will enter you into our random drawing. We've got Pithy here sitting aside to make sure that basically he's running the drawing, and we'll randomly select one of the lucky viewers to be able to have their chance to play live on stream for what will be the final Jump Up Halftime Challenge of the season.
Yeah, it promises to be exciting, that's for sure. And as Ron said, we have the top 5 contestants as well as one lucky viewer who gets a shot at this final Jump Up glory, the last ever Jump Up on MLTP Live. So make sure to hop on that Jump Up button, or rather that follow button, and on the Jump chat. We want to see you in this game, and we want to give you the best chance to be featured on this incredible Super Bowl stream. Now guys, Troball Ron, we're about to enter Game 1, Half 1 of this Super Bowl game on Wormy. Do you guys have any predictions? Ron, for example, do you think LagProne or Merballs has yet? Who do you think will be able to take it in Game 1?
Well, I'll tell you what, if you ask the community out there, it's a very overwhelming majority that believes that we've got, they're saying that LagProne is the underdog and the Merballs have the advantage. They've got the better record, and they're coming into it with that and the confidence and everything. So right now, look for the Merballs to really try to establish things off very quickly and try to take control of this game. But LagProne, certainly, we saw it during the game last week that they came from behind and really came out clutch in the end and won it. So I don't think that they can be counted out, even if they do lose this first game.
I mean, both of these teams earned their way into this Super Bowl matchup. There's no lucky team that manages to get this high. So clearly we're dealing with skilled teams, but it's interesting to note that, as you were saying, the general public so far in the straw poll has voted 80% in favor of the Merballs in terms of who they think will take the Super Bowl. So clearly they're the pretty big favorites. And in terms of who's rooting for who, 70% of the community is also rooting for the Merballs. So not only are they overwhelmingly favored for this matchup, they also seem to be everyone's favorite team. So let's see if LagProne can really grow into this underdog role. I know Bali tends to really love being pegged as the underdog and playing the us versus the world mentality. And that's probably just going to be feeding into the whole pre-game speech that he's going to get going with his team. Now, Troball, you're captain, and I think you tend to like fostering a pretty tight-knit group. Is that something that you kind of do, play in that whole us versus them mentality?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you need any kind of motivation you can get. And if you want to lead from the front and tell your team, what you want, you say what Bali's always said, is that people have always thought that we're weak, always think that we can't do it. And you harvest all of the salt. You create a salt mine, and you encourage your team with it. And you get everybody together to prove everyone wrong, because you need to be playing your best to do so. And you can't have any lingering doubts. If you start hesitating, or if you start, letting distractions get to you, then you're not going to play the level that you need to. You need to come into it with the confidence. You have to have something to prove. And so I guarantee you that he's used that today, and that's what they're going to set out to prove. They're going to tell all of you out there right now that you're wrong.
Yeah, I think definitely they're going to be feeding off the salt. And I know that, typically speaking, this LagProne side has been a side that when they do well, they do really well, and when they do poorly, they do really poorly. So they're going to be looking to get a quick start here, because as soon as they get down, things can be hard, especially against the best team in the regular season, the Merballs. Guys like Dino, Legman, can definitely punish you for any mistake that you make, and as soon as they're ahead, things look really bleak. Now you look at this Merballs group, they tend to be, I won't say level-headed, but obviously there's some volatility going on, but it seems like they seem to take it a bit lighter. They don't take it as seriously into their own bubble. They kind of just play because they enjoy playing. And do you think that's a better approach?
I mean, it usually works out that way. I mean, there's so many different approaches and so many different ways you can develop chemistry. And K-Pow, Merballs, and everybody on the team, they do a good job of getting along, having fun. They don't take it too critical, but they rely on each other and they trust each other to play well. Now, you know, people will typically kind of favor one approach over the other, but that's not to say that anyone can't be right. Whatever works for you, go do it.
Yeah, I'd say that's, I mean, as you say, there's so many different ways of playing this game and so many different ways of coaching this game, and there's no right or wrong way. Both of these teams, as we said, they approach the game pretty differently, and they've both made it this far. So clearly, they've both kind of found the key to their own doorway or their own lock. They've managed to pick that lock and maximize their potential. But it always comes down to this game. I mean, the winners are remembered or forgotten. So this is win it. Winner takes all, and loser basically goes home empty-handed. Nobody really remembers that second place. So they're gunning for all the glory. Trovell, you've been here before. You know how it is. They must be. Do you think they have any nerves going right now?
I mean, naturally, anybody coming into the situation should, feel a little bit about the import of it. But what you try to do is you just get to a point where your team, where you block out the distractions and just think about, moving up, down, left, and right. Fundamentally, it's so simple, but I guess that's what brings us all here to enjoy it. Is how complicated we can make something that is so simple.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you what, I know why all the viewers are here. They're here to watch the game, and it's officially time for the game. So, guys, sit back and enjoy the show.
Season champions, the Myrtle Beach Merballs! A four-time MLTP captain, three-time Super Bowl champion, the original two-way player, the one and only the jester of jukes, the sultan of showboats, the merchant of mischief, Mr. Hat! A CZ push veteran, the tagging machine, it's the silent but deadly RB Bear! A two-time MVP from Toronto, Ontario, your future Ball of Famer, franchise in MLTP history, LagProne. He put up 69 caps. Is he good? Of course he's good. You're talking about the LagProne James. Some people say he has an IQ of 322. All we know is they call him the Wise One. Un líder incomparable. Romeo el Maleficio, el capitán del LagProne, Diaz. He's been here twice before. And once again, it's the greatest defender of all time. Give it up for Turbo! The lineups are set. Let the games begin.
3, 2, 1.
And here we are starting off the Super Bowl on Wormy. I know, starting with the grab. LeBron James with one as well. Coming to the bottom of the map, hitting a boost around the corner, but Legman in the right spot at the right time.
And both teams coming out guns blazing, but no dice. Both defenses playing sound and keeping that flag in base. And we would expect nothing less from these teams, just really going high octane from the get-go. Both of them want that swinging momentum. You can see both of them waiting for the bombs here, some set plays. The defense kind of reads those plays, but it leads to a couple handoffs, and Mr. Hat is out. He's out. Oh, nearly past 3.
But Dino's going to be able to come off with the flag. Bally Manny is closing in to get a nice reset. We've got both teams reset. First round of power-ups coming up in about 10 seconds. Look for those to shake things up here as players are getting in position for those power-ups.
And with these delayed power-ups, they're going to be spawning on the very second, and it looks like LeBron is going to capture the top juke juice, but Merballs sweep the other 2 jukes, and that gives Merballs the advantage in that first round.
But they're having both of them on defense, and they're going to be able to use those to really play some aggressive no-grab here.
Yeah, interestingly enough, they chose to both keep them on defense, and somehow LeBron gets a grab-off. He's going to try the corner juke, nearly makes it happen, but not quite. Some good offensive defense there to keep that flag in base, and now the Wise One is just going to try to stay alive long enough for LeBron to get on regrab.
Yeah, which he's going to be able to do. Wise One just being very patient towards the bottom. Legman getting the return, but it allows enough time for LeBron to sit on this boost. He forces it, though, and that's going to be a reset.
Oh, and Dino trying the nice little split there.
What?
Nearly gets out. He's trying to set up a handoff, but Turbo is smart, reads the handoff, and LeBron does well to stay back, help Bully get that return, and help them get that reset. Because as we were talking about earlier, as soon as this flag gets out, it's really hard to bring back in.
Yeah, and now we've got the second round of power-ups, and Turbo picks up that TagPro. That's going to be very essential for them, and but he's going to keep it on defense, and the rolling bomb gets defused. LeBron James with the flag trying to pull some double moves here, but going to get returned. Finally, Turbo coming in on offense with this TagPro, going to block the snipe. Wise One's going to get out past 2. First chance at a cap here. Dino, the only one in base. He's going to get blocked out, going to flash it, and Wise One going to have the first cap of the Super Bowl.
And Mr. Hat having some connection issues, joining and leaving the game. That played a huge part in that first cap. And he's still having connection issues. This is not looking good for the Merballs.
Now you got to start wondering if they need to sub someone. Wise One getting pushed back by LeBron James. Dino grabbing, coming up towards these boosts, heading back, but Wise One still has the flag, trying to get past Mr. Hat, not going to be able to pull it off. Dino is past a couple, but Turbo sneaking in at the very end.
Turbo again showing his maturity there, just reads the juke and gets the pixel tag. That was a cap if he didn't get that tag, so he did really well to get that tag. And again, LeBron captures that top power-up once again, but Mr. Hat's got the TagPro lead, so LagProne's gonna have to make something happen, and they do. Wise One not being too nice to his teammate, and it looks like these teams are really just doing their best to play into their opponent's hands.
Yeah, and Wise One had a really nice spawn there, basically forcing Legman to turn around. Now Wise One's going to have to boost to get ahead here. We've got 2 blocks, Bally and Turbo closing in, and Legman's going to have to pull off something very creative if he wants a chance here.
And both Bally and Turbo opting not to use the backwards boosts, not playing into Troball's strategy of just boosting backwards blindly, and that might lead to a cap by Mr. Hat. A great bomb, heads-up play by LeBron, hitting the bomb and hitting Mr. Hat into his teammate. A really nice indirect play, if you want to call it that way.
Yes, and we've got Dino at the top of the map here. We've got another round of power-ups that LeBron is waiting for. Turbo getting the return. Mr. Hat coming off with regrab, and like I said, these power-ups are coming up in just a couple seconds, and watches the players position for them. Couple TagPros, 1 for each team. Wise One with the rolling bomb, and LeBron's going to be able to use this TagPro to try to open up a grabbing opportunity for Wise One, and he's done it perfectly. Great job by LeBron James. Wise One coming out with a rolling bomb. Can he use it to get a second cap here? Look at this, coming out with the rolling bomb, pushes Legman into the flag, and he's going to boost out, and Wise One is going to have to double back after having a flash of a chance to cap there.
That was brilliant by LagMan, reading the rolling bomb snipe and positioning himself perfectly to avoid getting or suffering that bait. Now it looks like RB's pass free, a beautiful snipe, and that's going to tie up the game. RB Bear showing his offensive prowess, Dino showing his defense awareness. These teams are firing on all cylinders right now.
Absolutely, and I don't know if you saw it or not, but RB Bear had a really nice split on the right-hand side of the map to lead to that cap, getting past both of his chasers. That's what allowed him to get the advantage, getting past 4 and coming in for that cap following the Flaccid.
Now we got power-ups spawning again. LeBron's going to secure 2 tag pros unless he leaves the bottom one for his teammate. At this point, he kind of just has to get on OD. And while both teams are waiting about with the power-ups, Mr. Hat makes no mistake, rushes into base and gets that nice go-ahead cap. And now LagMan, what a boost by LagMan! Off the corner into the return, man. Merballs are on their game right now.
Yes, they are, and look at this. Dino's going to try to get past Turbo. Can't quite pull it off, but yes, Merballs, after losing the first cap, they've come back with a vengeance here. A 1-cap lead. Bally's going to get returned. Turbo trying to push back against Mr. Hat. LeBron with a nice boost, and the bomb helps him out a little bit here as well. And this is a chance. Bally has perfectly countered that boost, opening up a lane for LeBron James to tie it up 2-2.
And these teams are playing flawlessly. They see a chance, and they only seen 1 missed chance so far, and that was due to LagMan's beautiful, beautiful offensive defense countering the rolling bomb. These teams are not making any mistakes, and they have to play that way if they have any chance of winning the Super Bowl. Now, the bottom power-up is a bit delayed here. This could lead to an asymmetry in the chances for these teams.
And it should. We've got RB Bear and LagMan both fighting on that one. Mr. Hat getting returned to LeBron, hitting this bomb, and RB with a really nice bomb return there. Dino's going to try for an aggressive boost here, and he's got it. He's to the corner boost. He's going to boost backwards, and up and straight at the flag. Dino, unbelievably, just getting right around Ballymandius and securing the lead of 1 cap once again for the Merballs.
Plays like that are when you can see that this guy is the best player to play the game. Not only does he recognize the opportunity, we've seen him do this before. We've seen him do this on Iron, coming in with the team, trusting his blocks, and just making that pixel-perfect boost. This LagProne team is going to have quite the player to contend with.
Yeah, and I was watching the replay, and man, he just barely clipped that boost. Really good knowledge of the hitbox of that boost, and very well executed here. We've got a lot of people fighting for the middle power-up, but LagMan is going to steal it for the Merballs. Dino's got a TagPro as well, and this is looking very dangerous here as Dino's going to escort Mr. Hat into the flag, and Turbo, I think Dino had trouble figuring out which player to block there, and Turbo just snuck in from behind to get the return.
They could have used that extra TagPro for the lead, but instead LagMan was hoping that he'd get lucky on the power-ups at the bottom, but now he's got the blocks, and this could be a cap. Dino's going to try to boost in. The Flaccid happens, but it doesn't matter. Some good offensive defense by LagProne to keep the score at 3-2, and now they've got 4 ahead of the flag carrier. Now, just to get back to that power-up situation right there, LagProne perfectly countered the TagPro lead by spreading it thin. They got 1 player on each side, on top and on bottom, and the TagPro lead couldn't cover both of them. They had to pick one and hope the other would miss. But LagProne is a coordinated team. They were never going to miss that. But speaking of coordination, it looks like we saw a bit of lack of coordination by Dino there, just running into that spike.
Yeah, he ran into the spike and it almost led to a reset. Right now, the tables have turned a little bit. Turbo, a couple tag pros here. Turbo picking up one of them for LagProne, and now they have their chance at trying to show the Merballs how a 2 tag pro situation is handled, as Turbo also picks up the rolling bomb return for cap. Can they get it? Almost! Yes, they can, but LagMan is going to be able to get on regrab in time and looking for the kiss, and that's a very wise kiss, as there is a 2 tag pros on the LagProne team. LeBron James coming into base. Dino's going to get returned, and RB Bear taking regrab out.
And with a minute and a half left, this game has given us a lot of action, but both teams have been very good at defending against these double tag pros. I have to admit, I've been a bit surprised to see how ineffective these double tag pros have been, and I think a lot of credit has to go to the defenders there, who've been able to read the plays and counter them perfectly.
Yeah, if we look back at the poll in MLTP, the majority of people thought that the defenders here would be picked for the MVP, and we're seeing that right now. The defense is really stepping up and countering these power-ups, but Dino is going to come to the boost. He's got an open boost lane. Turbo's going to have to use his juke juice, and Dino trying to cut under and thread the needle, but Ballymandius there to close it off.
Bally getting his 13th tag and a clutch one at that. He sees that his teammate's going high, so he chooses to go a bit low, anticipating Dino's juke, and he does it perfectly. That's the kind of play that you love to see from your veteran and from a leader on your team. With 30 seconds remaining, you really can't afford to let in another cap right before the end.
Now we've got Wise One getting returned. LeBron trying to get the handoff. Couldn't quite get to the bomb in time. And very dangerous here. Legman getting returned.
And if you look at the prevent totals so far, RB Bear and Legman have been able to keep their flag in base way longer. The prevent totals for Merballs are nearly 7 minutes compared to only about 4 minutes for LagProne. So while both teams tend to have had good chances both ways, Merballs have really dominated in keeping that flag in base, and that's been key to them getting the lead and coming out of that first half ahead by 1 cap. That's been huge. Credit has to go, though, to Turbo putting up 15 returns, 18 tags, and Power Battle has been pretty split. So really, apart from the prevent, we've been seeing some pretty good gameplay. Obviously, the hold's been in Mr. Hat and Dino's advantage as well, and one has to wonder how much that leg out by Mr. Hat could have changed the game had it not happened. Now, Raven, I know you were watching this first half. Did you have anyone that you wanted to single out for praise?
Yeah, I mean, from a statistical perspective, it was really RB Bear, surprisingly to a lot of people, that actually had the best first half. He had, I believe, a little bit more than a minute more prevent than the next guy. And in addition to all his defensive statistics, he tossed in 12 returns. He also had a cap for the Merballs, so he had a very well-rounded half for sure. Also, shout out to the Tornado.
Yeah,
that was my.
We lost you for the pregame there with a little tornado warning, but you survived, and so you're back with us.
Yeah.
Now, Turball, you also watched this first half. What was the play that changed the momentum for you? What was the turning point of this first half?
The turning point for me there, trying to figure out what might happen, is when Dino made that snipe on the FC leaving base. He set that snipe up in advance. His teammate let him kind of go to the outside so Dino could be there to go get the shot on LeBron for RB's cap. So to me, that tells me that they are playing good. That, like, besides a little bit of lag, but they are communicating, and they're, because that's a play you play with an offense, right? It's so tough to do.
Right.
That to be able to do it means you have to be doing so many other things right. And that was, to me, kind of the turning point that showed me that Merbs can really make some very outstanding plays today.
So going into half two, Turball, do you think that the Merballs have to just keep cruising, or do they have things that you think they might want to be improving?
I would say generally, I mean, if you have a 1 cap lead, you want to just keep getting your power-ups, right? You can be thwarted and get out of base with the TagPro, although it looked pretty tough to cap with the TagPro there. I would say Merv's got to keep doing what they're doing, keep playing aggressive, keep rotating all around.
Excellent. Now, Raven, with LagProne, what can you expect next going into the second half?
Well, LagProne's in a pretty tough spot, being down 1 cap right now. Since we're going into the Origin half, and LagProne is definitively a pie team, they're really going to have to step up in order to be able to outscore the Merballs on their home server. So it could be tough for them, especially on a map like Wormy, where it's really one of the most difficult to cap on maps, just because it's so easy to get out of base and difficult to get resets and get capping opportunities. You really need power-ups in order to, especially TagPros, in order to get capping opportunities on this map. So LagProne just has to get their pups, take advantage in those situations when they present themselves, and hope for the best.
Now, Ron, I know that we were talking about how there was the jump up event going into not going into the next half, but half after that, and so we have to plan for that, and the jump up signups are going to be closing shortly. Is that correct, Ron?
Yeah, that's right. We're just minutes away here from closing the Jump Up Halftime Challenge submission. So this is your last chance if you guys want to participate in the final and biggest Jump Up event of the season. Once again, to remind you to participate, you need to click the follow button, and then you need to type !jump in chat to be automatically entered into our giveaway. And guys, make sure you pay attention. Pithy will be selecting selecting the final player here very shortly. And if you are picked, look for your Twitch whispers and hop on Mumble. And we wish you guys the best of luck here. You're going to be facing off against the 5 greatest jump uppers out there, so you're going to need it.
So guys, we're about to head to a commercial break, so bear with us and we'll be right back.
He's returning left and right, and Space Tiger comes in for the cap. He's coming in.
Acuron's coming in, and the blocks were there. Oh my god!
It's where the insane becomes the routine with it.
It's the cat's whiskers.
It's perfection.
Oh, and carry for 3. That cap.
Alright guys, so welcome back. It looks like both teams are pretty much ready and set to go, locked and loaded, so we should be starting shortly here. Now Ron, any predictions for half number 2? Do you think Merballs can keep this lead, or will we see LagProne making a comeback?
I'm going to put the ball in Merballs' court for this one. They've been playing very well, and we're seeing some dynamic plays. That boost from Dino to cap it was just phenomenal in that first half. I think they've got the momentum going into the second half.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be hard, but I mean, LagProne has proven that they can come back from greater deficits before, and against good teams as well. And so definitely you can never count them out. As you said, though, it's really, really hard to claw back from a lead or a deficit, especially against arguably the best team in the league. But, I mean, you got to beat the best to be the best, so that's what we're about to find out.
Now we've got LeBron using a really far away boost here to try to sneak away with the flag, but not going to be able to pull anything off with that. And he's going to try to boost in as well. Wise one just getting double blocked out.
And Dino manages to get a grab. Jukes, Bully, Jukes, Turbo, and Dino's pass too.
Yeah, Mr. Hat with some good support blocking here, but LeBron James was in the perfect spot to get the return. But the important part is the Merballs now have a little bit of a regrab train set up. But look at this aggression by Turbo and Ballymandius, and he almost sneaks around them. Wise one going to get bombed in. Nice bomb. Clutch bomb there from Mr. Hat. Holy cow.
Mr. Hat's mechanical skill, especially his micro juking, is second to none. Seeing a new guy come into the league like this and pair everyone up with his micro juking, which is all psychological. Obviously, there's a lot of mechanical skill involved, but micro juking is all about going where the opponent thinks you're not going to go and predicting it and anticipating it. And the fact that he can do it so consistently bodes well for his future as a player, and bodes well for Merballs' fates tonight.
And now Arby Bear is going to help Mr. Hat come in with a TagPro escort, looking to expand the lead here. Wise one getting a return, and that's going to probably be a cap. There it is, Mr. Hat extending the lead to 2 caps.
Wow, Dino managing to hit that bomb perfectly. Gets rid of the tag, or gets rid of the flag carrier. No need to worry about the TagPro lead, and then somehow survives going through those bottom spikes. This guy's getting all the bounces tonight, but you can't fault him for that. He's clearly a big part of their success so far, and a lot of it, I mean, you make your own luck in this game. And Dino again, gets past Bully. He's going to try to double back and allow Mr. Hat to get the regrab, but then just decides to make a nice play, gets the boost. Dino is untouchable right now.
Yes, he is. He's coming into base, trying to dance around, maybe get a chance at a nub step, but LeBron is staying firmly planted on that regrab, going to have to pull it off. And Mr. Hat coming in, they've got a rolling regrab. Legman gonna try for the snipe. What a snipe by Legman! Somehow just sneaks right around that wall, getting the return. Arby Bear coming out with the flag, but man, Legman, that was a really great play.
Arby Bear bombing to his own death, but somehow Dino manages to secure that regrab and allows Mr. Hat to come back in a timely fashion. Bally just has to delay. He delays perfectly, and I was gonna try to contain Mr. Hat. Turbo looking a bit shaky with his
here we go.
straight lines, but it doesn't matter. Bally gets the returns, and LeBron is going to tie things up for the half, but they're still down by 1. They're chasing the game, but they're making a good bid to push for this lead.
Yeah, LeBron James right there was just aggressive, and he got right past Arby Bear using his velocity, and that's where we're seeing those risks come into play, and he committed 100% to that one, and now it's just a 1-cap game.
Now, obviously, all the teams lining up for these power-ups. LeBron is going to secure that top power-up again, and I have to underline his disciplined with these power-ups. He's been able to get them nearly every single round since the beginning of Game 1. And in fact, the guy has led the league MLTP in power-ups this season. So not only has he been grabbing and holding more than anyone else, he's been getting power-ups more than anyone else. And that's been a huge part of their success so far. But Mr. Hat, we're talking about power-up usage. That's a perfect usage of the TagPro. They've been protecting Dino and nearly getting a cap from it.
Yeah, and LeBron was doing exactly what he had to do there. He had to stay alive. They had a TagPro in base. They had a rolling bomb flag carrier in base. And LeBron just had to make sure that he was staying alive. And he was able to do it long enough. And now he's actually pulling off the regrab as well. And RB Bear getting in the way a little bit there. Going to get returned. Wise One's going to try to aggressively close in as his Turbo to fill the gap, and they're just going to work together to get the return. Good chance here. RB Bear getting returned. LeBron James just got one to beat. He's got all three blockers. This should be it. Watch for the bomb. But yes, they've tied it up. LagProne has come back from the 2-cap deficit with just 6 minutes to go in the second half of the first game.
And again, LagProne's defense just showing their coordination, catching the Merballs sleeping with some pretty nasty returns. And they managed to get those 2 quick returns, get those resets, and then basically just triple block Dino out. Dino tried the desperation bomb, but nothing was happening there. A great play by LagProne, and LeBron putting himself in position for that cap, tying things up, and now it's anyone's game.
And I love to see them pulling regrab there and just situationally looking at it and going, hey, if we can commit 3 players against this one offensive D, we can easily block him out and get a cap here. That was really heads-up thinking from the entire team.
Dino's juking has been really good. Unlike Mr. Hat, he hasn't really been micro-juking so far. He's mostly just been using his momentum and just riding it off. You'd say into the sunset almost, but we'll see by the end of the game if that's indeed the case. He's been really good at just contouring the defenders without losing any speed, and that's what's enabled him to gain such an edge. And Legman grabs the rolling bomb, survives the first tag, but the Wise One is there to go for the follow-up and get that return.
Yeah, now we've got RB Bear with the flag, hitting the bomb, coming right past Ballymandius, going to come into base. He's got some blockers. Can they take the lead back? RB Bear off the wall, hitting, coming towards the bomb, and the bomb opens up. Just a narrow opportunity, and now the Merballs are back on top.
Wow, the bomb. That bomb was amazing. Cleared the base, cleared the path for RB to come in, and RB with another cap. Great job, great team play by the Merballs. In fact, I'd love to see what the Merballs had to say after this another cap. Let's listen into their channel. Let's see how it's going right now for the Merballs.
My bad, I deflected that poorly. I'm going pups.
Okay.
Going for mid.
They're trying to grab. He's gonna grab.
Force them to leave pups.
Oh,
Okay,
I'll play.
Tried.
They got mid juke too.
I got TagPro bot. I'm on out.
Top rolling. I got him. Me and Hat, I'm D. I'm back. Oh, why?
Actually,
why?
I'm still with TagPro in their base. TagPro in their base.
Alright. He's pushing me with it. Yeah, just come up. Oh, that's fine.
Pass 2. TagPro respawning.
Is that right?
Damn.
Holy fuck. Why? This is top.
And we just saw right there some good, efficient communication. Really no dead air in that channel. So
no, not at all. I mean, they're talking with a lot of speed here, a lot of things flying back and forth, but you can hear it in their voices. They're determined. They've got the laser focus here. They've got a good 2-cap lead, and 3 minutes to go. They're hoping to win this first game.
Yeah, obviously they're putting themselves in a really good position, especially after those 2 quick caps. A brilliant second cap by Mr. Hat to give themselves that little extra buffer, meaning they can try a bit of crazy stuff still without worrying about losing that lead. And should this game end tied, we will go to a 10-minute overtime period. But right now, it's looking like Merballs are in the driving seat. And RB's pass 2, nearly gets a block from Dino. Pass 3, this is going to be another cap for RB there. Getting that 3.5 minutes left. That is huge for the Merballs.
Yes, it is. And now LeBron James is forced to sit on regrab with that TagPro. And going to hit this bomb. Let's see if he can pull anything off with it. Trying to sneak under RB Bear, not able to pull it off. And now is the time where we've got to see the risk get dialed up here for LagProne. They're down by 3 caps, and they've got to start fighting here with just 2 minutes to go, or else they're going to have to look on to game 2.
It's now or never. If they get a good power-up round, they can get a quick cap, and then off that momentum, if they can start chaining them, they could get a second. But getting 3 caps is going to be a tough ask, especially against a team as good as Merballs. You saw how disciplined they were, how coordinated they were. A team like that is not going to be easy to cap on. Now, the Wise One's going to try a nifty grab, but misses the bomb, and that's going to be crucial in determining this power battle. That means that Wise One and RB and Legman are back into their putt positions rather than chasing. That's going to allow Legman to grab, secure that Juke Juice, and might be the game changer here with a minute left, or a minute and a half left.
Now here we go. LeBron James has the flag with a Juke Juice. Mr. Hat's going to, thread the needle right under Bali and Turbo. And also, LeBron James with a good split here using the wall. Hitting the bomb! Wow! Almost a chance at sneaking in a cheeky cap there, but doesn't quite, not quite able to pull that off.
I love those bomb plays, and you can see LagProne right now playing risky, not necessarily waiting for the regrabs, just they need those resets, they need those returns. And Mr. Hat with a hell of a bomb, getting that return, and that's huge. Getting them the reset with a minute left, that's probably going to end this game if they can keep this flag in base for the power-ups.
And we've got Legman.
I know. Great awareness. These guys, their bombs have been on point all game long. Half one, half two. They've been insane.
Yes, and we've got the final round of power-ups here. Legman getting a rolling bomb, which gets defused. Bali being aggressive with this bomb, trying to get a reset. And a nice snipe by RB Bear. Mr. Hat coming in with the Juke Juice. The boost spawns, but that's no problem. Coming up to this bomb and bombing it. What? He bounces off of the corner between the spikes. Mr. Hat, everybody, and somehow staying alive for a second longer. But that was quite the fluke there.
When it rains, it pours for LagProne. These guys, the Merballs, just are getting all the bounces right now. And, I mean, they earned them. They've been playing really well. And you can see in how confident they're playing. With 14 seconds remaining, with this 3-cap lead, they're going to take this win into Game 2 and put themselves one step closer to that Super Bowl.
3, 2.
And the time is going to wind down here, and a very decisive win for Merballs, especially in the second half.
Another 7+ minutes of prevent, 6+ minutes of hold for the Merballs. They have absolutely dominated LagProne on this wormy game. Huge play by both the offense and the defense in the Merballs. They managed to secure 16 of the 27 power-ups and get a whopping 4 caps in this second half alone. 2 caps coming from a defender, no less. RB's got his hat-trick completed for Game 1. Again, RB's been outstanding, but I mean, this whole team's been playing really well. Raven, is there anyone that you want to single out?
I got to give it to Legman for this one. He played out of his mind. Before the half, I said that the only way that I thought that LagProne could come back and win the game is if they won power-ups, and they did not, primarily thanks to Legman, who picked up a ridiculous 9 power-ups in that game. And he also just had a lot of other great awareness plays. He had that one just beautiful bomb from inside a base that allowed RB Bear to come in and make a cap, and I think that was actually what gave the Merbs the lead after LagProne tied it up early in the half. So I really love the way that Legman played in that half. But of course, RB with another great statistical performance, putting up 2 caps as a defender, which I really appreciate.
Now, Trollball, was there any turning point that you saw during that game?
Just the bomb in by RB Bear and walk in. It looked inevitable. It looked like it could have been preventable, but it wasn't, and that's one of those frustrating things that make it tough for you.
Yeah, that was a key game changer for them, and it really opened the floodgates and allowed them to get those couple quick chain caps and swing momentum in their favor. Now, Ron, it looks like we are pretty much locked and loaded ourselves.
That's right. It's time for the Jump Up Halftime Challenge, the final and biggest jump up of the season. Here we've got Fractal, Adarsh, Beast Mode, Ishii, Catalyst, and Mr. Joachim Noah will be joining us here for the final jump up. And I just wanted to mention, keeping in line with the Super Bowl stream here, we wanted to follow MLTP, take a page out of their books, and we're going to be delaying power-ups on this Jump Up Halftime Challenge to make sure that any spawn locations wouldn't be unfair.
I mean, it's 2016, right? Delaying power-ups are the trendy thing to do, so we figured why not do it ourselves?
That's correct. A couple other changes, as I mentioned earlier. It's going to be twice as many players, twice as long. A 2-minute jump up is about to begin.
3, 2, 1.
And they're jumping.
And you can see them jostling for position here, going for those unseen power-ups. And there you go.
Yes, indeed. Collecting the power-ups here.
And in this modified version of the jump up, the Super Bowl edition, we're going to see these power respawn every 10 seconds to keep things exciting. These players are going to be, they know this, they have this in mind, and they're going to be trying to jostle for positions for those high traffic areas.
We've got 3 in first place here, very close. Joachim Noah holding a narrow lead. Fractal and Catalyst right behind.
Yeah, and I believe Mr. Joachim Noah is, in fact, Mr. Joe Hobo, who placed 3rd in the leaderboards for jump up throughout the season.
I think Adarsh might be pulling up the lead now. Yeah, very close game. Keep in mind, these are the best. These are the best players out of all the weeks of the regular season. So they're all doing the right thing here, and it's a very close contention.
40 seconds left. Things are getting hot. Ishii taking the lead. Adarsh and Ishii neck and neck.
Yeah, just about 30 seconds to go. Ishii with the lead, but Adarsh is coming up from behind. Can Adarsh do it? He's making a last-second push. Now Adarsh has the lead, but Justice for TPK coming in from behind, and Ishii up there as well. They're all really fighting for it. This is going to come down to the very end. Very close game. 15 seconds to go. Ishii with a narrow lead.
Ishii really looking good right now. Trading blows to the other contenders, but Ishii putting himself in a good position to take this, and with 5 seconds left, who will take it?
And the time expires. Ishii, congratulations for winning the final Super Bowl edition of Jump Up Halftime Challenge with 954 power-ups.
Ishii is our Jump Up Grand Champion, squeaking in the very last week of Jump Up, manages to secure that #1 spot overall in this final matchup. A huge congratulations to Ishii, and congrats to all the other participants all throughout the season, especially these top 5 for managing to secure their spot in the Super Bowl. But again, Ishii just took it away, took that last late lead, and rode out into the sunset with it. Now, Ron, do you know if the teams are ready to go for game #2?
Yeah, it looks like it, and I'll tell you what, I'm ready to go. Let's see, Velocity is going to be our map. So let me just, hold on, sorry, there's a little bit of a problem. I think they haven't selected the correct map, so I'm just trying to communicate with them. But I'm really excited for game 2 and to see if LagProne can come out strong. You know, they had a 1-cap lead going into that first game, and then it kind of evaporated away from them. Can they get a lead early and hold on to it this time?
I mean, they even pushed for a comeback. They tied things up in half #2, but then just let it slip through their fingers through some inattentive play and through some just sloppy mistakes. Now, we know this team's a disciplined team. As we said earlier, when they get behind, sometimes things can get kind of heated. So for their sake, here's to hoping that they manage to keep things under control, keep their cool, and try to secure that early lead and push with it. Because once they got that early lead in actually, I'm not sure if they did get an early lead, but if they can get an early lead, that'll be huge for them.
All right, we're just moments away from starting game 2 here. We've got the Merballs with winning first game, and if they win this one, they'll be crowned Super Bowl champions. Otherwise, LagProne winning this one will put it on to game 3.
And I think everyone here is hoping for an intense game 3 showdown. Although, to be fair, we did see that it seemed like the vast majority of spectators were rooting for the Merballs. So I guess there's only one way to find out.
Yes, indeed. And once again, we're seeing a little bit of a slow start here. So I like what I'm seeing from LeBron trying to get a grab off at the beginning and using these boosts here to open up an opportunity for Wise One. Wise One's out. Turbo getting the return. This is a good chance. Army Bear's got a boost, and Wise One's forced to slow down. And Mr. Hat just beautifully going against these 2 blockers here on offensive D and playing very well here.
And Legman gets past 2, gets past 3. He only needs to get past the Wise One, and he does! Legman gets past James!
Oh, LeBron James almost pulled it off, but he came in, and Mr. Hat going to get the first cap of the second game. Sorry, Legman got that first capture, and starting it off very strong here.
Legman with the beautiful bounce grab, and then just straight line jukes the Wise One into stalling for his moves, and just manages to get into base with the right blocks, opens the scoring for the Merballs, and things are looking good for the Myrtle Beach Merballs here.
And Wise One, though, is out with the rolling bomb, and Legman by a pixel stays alive. He's got to stay alive for longer. Bally's going to get it. Wise One almost getting off the flag, but just trusting his team for the last second and tying it up 1-1. Great move and nice trust here from Wise One, but Bally gets past, and now Mr. Hat's going to get the cap, and a fatal error here from Bally, just not being able to secure that boost lane up, and that's going to be a very short tie there as Merballs coming back on top.
Ollie getting a bit flustered there. Not only does he break the contain, but then he misses the boost in return, and that turns into a fatal mistake because nobody had regrab. That right there is an uncharacteristic, risky play that really didn't pay off for Bally. He tends to play more of a conservative playstyle, and again, going for the risky boost instead of the contain. This guy is flustered right now. Let's see if he can get back on his game. They're going to need it. They're going to need their leader back on his game if they want to expect to salvage anything from this Super Bowl performance.
Yes, indeed. They're only down by 1 cap. He's got plenty of time to slow things down, and they've got to be very careful here as Mr. Hat has a TagPro. Wise One's just boosting all over the map, but unfortunately boosts right towards Mr. Hat, and he's just trying to stay alive in any way he can. Bally's not going to be able to be in the right spot with that TagPro. He's just trying to get over there, but just on the wrong side of the map, and closing in to try to chase with that TagPro as well. LeBron James going to have to pull some moves, and he's doing it very well. On Velocity, we're seeing it's a map where competent flag carriers can juke around for a bit on this map with all these boosts.
Yeah, this is one where we're going to see the flag out more often than not, and same can be said of Wormy, and we saw that as well. But definitely favors good defenders who can get those timely resets. Now Dino is past two, manages to get past 2, and Wise One misses the button, but Dino is somehow fooled into getting returned anyway. So some good team play there by LagProne. Just somehow, by a miracle, virtue of a miracle, managed to get that return.
Now, for the first time in the game, I think we saw Dino sticking back on anti-regrab, but we saw a rolling bomb here picked up by LeBron James. He's picking up yet another one. Going to use it, coming into base and trying to double move. Bally's going to try for a snipe here, and Mr. Hat coming in with the flag, getting closed in on, and let's see if he can pull some moves. He's in base, running out of space, but somehow, wow, Mr. Hat just expertly pulling that off, and now he's on the bomb. Wise One's got to be safe here because Turbo's off regrab. Turbo finally falling towards that flag tile and pulling off it so LeBron can pick it up, and just back and forth here. 1 cap lead for the Merballs as we see both teams trying to get this flag returned. RB Bear finally getting the return, Mr. Hat as well.
LeBron and Mr. Hat, guys who are so slippery. Even when it looks like they're about to get returned, they somehow manage to come out of it alive. And that's going to be huge. I mean, we saw Mr. Hat survive in base there, and that denied them a cap. So if they can keep doing that all game long, then it's going to be really hard for LagProne to come back here. I know it's only a 1 cap lead, but that can be the difference maker.
Yes, indeed. And Dino getting that rolling bomb power up, but it gets diffused immediately. We're seeing LagProne was right on with that timer, and Wise One trying to use his juke juice. LeBron James has one as well, both of them being aggressive with it, but nice job by RB Bear and Legman getting that return.
Oh,
and
nice block
look at
by
Mr. Hat with these boosts, with these blocks.
Dino
yes,
reads the blocks like a real book there. Great teamwork between Dino and Mr. Hat. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, you've got RB Bear and Legman, who completely have LeBron and the Wise One's number. LeBron and the Wise One haven't really been able to get any momentum going so far this game. The hold has been in favor, has been pretty level, but the prevent is almost double in favor of the Merballs right now.
Now we've got Mr. Hat grabbing the flag, going to get contained into the corner, and Legman has that boost at the wrong angle, which allows Wise One to pick up this rolling bomb, and let's see if he can use it wisely as he's coming into base. LeBron's going to distract them, grab the flag, and he's getting out, and the rolling bomb almost pushes Legman there. LeBron James by pixels, still somehow alive. Bally's going to try to use this rolling bomb to open up a gap, and he has Bally Manius with the brilliant play, and now they've tied it up, and they're trying to take the lead. Wise One with the flag. Dino narrowly gets the return. Unbelievable plays here, especially opened up by Bally Mandius.
They had a golden opportunity to take the lead there. They had the double blocks. They had the free route with the flag carrier, but they couldn't make it happen. Now, if LeBron gets returned, this could be a cap the other way. Legman just waiting on the flag tile, but he gets returned. And this right here is a game again, ladies and gentlemen. If Dino dies, this could nearly be a cap, but RB Bear gets there in time. Again, another close call. This game is getting intense.
Oh, but here we go. RB Bear is in position to get the cap, and now yet again, Merballs reclaiming the lead, and this has just been a back-and-forth affair. Under 4 minutes to go, and looks like another round of power-ups has come up. Turbo defusing that rolling bomb on defense. Legman trying to sneak out with that juke juice, not able to pull it off, but Mr. Hat's going to try to do something with his rolling bomb. Almost grabs it, but Turbo wisely diffusing it and keeping the...
Whoa.
No, he doesn't keep the contain. Nice move by Hat.
no.
And double spikes. Oh, no.
And
Look at this.
Block. Mr. Hat goes around the double block perfectly. Oh, Mr. Hat pulling a masterclass, reading the blocks like a book, getting in and getting that 2-cap lead again. This Merballs team is right now, they're untouchable.
Yes, they are. They've got a 2-cap lead now, and it looks like RB Bear with the flag. And right now, LagProne needs to do something to get this reset. Maybe even start considering going for a anti-regrab if they can get the flag out of base. But right now, they're just they're just playing defensively right now. They can't even get that flag out. They're going to try to win a round of power-ups here. Bally's going to pick up a TagPro on defense, and that'll ensure that their flag stays in for a little while at the very least.
Indeed, and with the power-ups coming here, there's another TagPro. That's going to put Bally out of position. Turbo gets blocked behind, and now Legman's past 3. LeBron has to go for a solo return. Is he going to get it?
Oh.
He nearly gets it, but he gets blocked out of the way. Legman is going to get another cap here. Merballs extending their lead to 3 with 2.5 minutes left in the first half of the game. That is going to be huge going into half number 2.
Now you got to be careful here. We got to LagProne's got to be careful not to be too they got not to get too flustered here. They've got a 3-cap deficit, and while that's a lot on a map like Velocity, it's certainly easy to come back from that with a bit of a cap train. And if they keep placiding so much like this, it's going to be difficult for them. They've got to keep their heads on straight here and keep their cool a bit.
And I mean, LagProne recognized that they need to get the flag out, desperately need to start getting that regrab chain. So I understand the risky grabs. What they really need to avoid is letting their own flag out and making mistakes like prioritizing power-ups wrong or just dropping contains, getting blocked out. That's the kind of stuff that you can't afford, especially not at this stage in the game. So the onus is on not only on their offense to manage to get out, but they really need to keep that flag in base, and that's easier said than done against this defense. If they can get the tackle, this could be a return, but instead Mr. Hat jukes his way out. This is likely. Oh man, Legman could go.
Here we go.
Yep,
look at this.
Wow, again, missing on their tapping opportunity. Bally boosting backwards. LeBron not in position. Turbo misses the bomb.
Oh man.
Walked out, and the score is 7-2. Merballs running away with this.
And they're still going. Look at this. Mr. Hat using this TagPro. Bally's their only hope, and somehow Bally prevents yet another cap there. Nice thinking from Bally here.
And a minute remaining. Let's see what the Merballs have to say.
54. Oh, yo, left pop is coming up. Left pop. It's a rolling bomb.
Should be up. Fucking system. Dude. I got system.
Did they get left yet?
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's a rolling bomb. He's got TagPro lead with rolling.
Yeah, rolling.
Just grab.
Coming left. Oh, come on.
Oh, nice try. Alright, don't let them get away with it though.
30 seconds.
Let's not.
Going for our pup.
Right.
Done.
Don't push him.
Hit it. Hit it.
Oh, wow, he got it rolling, defused.
He's in
How'd you get it?
He pushed me. I got bullied. I got volleyed. One in base.
8 seconds.
Yeah.
7, 6.
Oh, damn. Alright, whatever. That's good now.
2, 1.
Alright, and that looks like it's about it right now for the game. Merballs taking a commanding 7-3 lead into half number 2. And as we saw, right now things are pretty lighthearted in the Merballs channel. They're riding high on confidence, riding high on adrenaline right now, and you can see that things are just clicking. They got capped against during this listening, and they didn't let that fluster them at all. They just regrouped and kept playing their fundamental game. Despite the 23 returns for Volleymandius, his team goes into half number 2 4 caps behind. Now Raven, you watched this game. Who's your MVP?
I'm actually going to give it to Lakeman again. I thought he just played out of his mind once again. Lots of smart decision making. And the weird thing to me about this half was that LagProne actually won the power-ups 25-11, which is just impossibly lopsided given the result that came out of this half. So Lakeman, Dino, and company able to win the game with just smart decision making, taking advantage of their opportunities despite some weird statistical anomalies.
Absolutely. Now, Trollball, any particular moments that stood out to you in that half?
I would have to say it was that the chain that Merballs were able to get by having that TagPro on D. It can happen on Velocity where you just get ahead of them. Shows that they were playing smart. The other turning point was when Bali and Turbo both kind of swung at the Merball flag carrier, and he got past him, and then instead of just kind of chasing and getting back in there, they hit a really unfortunate boost that spiked both of them and gave Mr. Hat so much time to read the double blocks and to be able to cap in base. So just that looked a little flustered to me.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now, Trollball, going into the second half, if you're lag prone, you're down 4 caps, but you did secure that last cap with a minute remaining. If you're Bali, what do you tell your team?
Go out there and execute our game plan. That they executed it. They won 25 powers. They were smart the whole time, but they made a couple just kind of strategic blunders and not in staying ahead of the FC. A really basic thing on Velocity. So they just got to tighten up, play smarter. But they're already executing their plan. So just make the caps happen. You have to convert on your opportunities. You have to push it a little bit more to come back and forth. You really have to start playing aggressive.
Now, Raven, we've got LagProne, who's just been killing it with this power-up game, but coming in to get half 2, what could be their final half with the 4-cap deficit. Is there anything that they need to change going into the second half?
I mean, Trollball pretty much hit the nail on the head. Like, I'm definitely not going to say the same thing as I did last time, because obviously LagProne doing a very fine job getting power-ups. But yeah, Tro was completely right that like almost all of the Merballs caps were a result of just like weird strategic blunders on the part of LagProne. So they just need to make sure they're staying ahead, that they're not like trying to get one-on-one returns as the last line of defense against a cap, and then just take advantage of their opportunities that will hopefully for them come as an inevitable result of their power-up dominance if that's able to continue.
Right. Well, guys, we're about to head to another commercial break, so bear with us here. We will be right back.
Windows are locked, doors are locked, alarm is on. Hearing a weird sound.
Something's here. I feel it breathing on me.
There's footsteps in, but there's no footsteps out.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
If you do try to play games with it, that's inviting it in. You cannot run from this. It will follow you.
I'm in control.
You're not in control. What's happening to me?
This thing left a message.
If it's not a ghost, what is it?
All right, guys, welcome back. We are just about ready to launch half number 2 of game number 2, which could possibly be the very last half of competitive Major League TagPro you watch all season long. So it shouldn't be long here.
With a 4-cap deficit here, it's going to be a very tall order. But it's the Super Bowl. It's the time where something can happen. I mean, there's 4 competent players on LagProne, and we could see them really turn things around this half. But now they really need to. This is when it counts. This last half here is going to be very crucial for them to start executing as a team.
And I mean, if you're the Merballs right now, you have 2 choices. You can either try to go all out the same way you did last half, exploit mistakes, take risks, and try to get an even larger lead to secure that Super Bowl victory, or you can try to play it on the safe side, avoid unnecessary risks that could let LagProne back into the game, and just try to play a tight game, mistake-free, risk-free, even if it means the second half is a tie, or even if you lose by 1 or 2, as long as you keep that aggregate lead, that's all that counts. So we'll have to find out what they decide to do. There are 2 options for the Merballs right now. I predict that they're just going to come out guns blazing because that's what they're best at, and they've shown it throughout these 3 first halves of the Super Bowl that they can outgun Ballymandius and company, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them do it again. We were talking about the power-up battles earlier, and on a map like Velocity, there are 4 power-ups, so that can definitely come into play. But despite winning the power-ups 25-11 last half, LagProne was taking a lot of irresponsible power-ups, grabbing them at the wrong time. A couple times we saw Bally grab the base power-up and put himself out of position when Turbo was behind. If anything, when you take that power-up, you have to ensure that your teammate's ahead of you, just to make position. Then you have someone to make up for your lack of positioning. And instead, it seemed like LagProne was too focused on grabbing those power-ups and not focused enough on grabbing them at the right time. So if they can fix that, then maybe they have a chance at getting back into this game. 4-cap deficits comebacks are not unheard of, especially not on a map with quick chain caps like this.
Yeah, absolutely. These power-ups are important, but you can't forego standard positioning to win these power-ups, as we saw in the first half. Mr. Hat trying for some nice moves here. Wise one-on-one against RB Bear, and RB Bear just keeping pace here, falling right to this button and forcing Wise One to go backwards, getting blasted back by the bombs, and now a team effort to push backwards, get the contain. But LeBron's got a boost, and he's dangerous with those. He's coming in. Wise One getting in the way a bit, and he's going to line up some blocks, and LeBron's going to have to be creative, doubling back, getting pushed backwards all the way by RB Bear and Mr. Hat. He doesn't want to go all the way back to the flag, so he's going to use this wall, and he's waiting for this power-up. We've got TagPros all over the map here. LeBron James, Wise One picking up a TagPro. LeBron boosting, or just shooting back and forth here, and Wise One's going to be able to open up an opening here, but bad communication. They don't know which way to let LeBron James get out of base, and Wise One killing 3 people with this TagPro. LeBron with the boost yet again. He's going straight at the flag. He's got it. LeBron James helping LagProne make this a 3-cap game using these TagPros after a long back and forth in that upper left power-up chamber.
And we were talking about responsible power-ups. That's exactly what we were talking about. LeBron grabbing that TagPro, just taking it away from the Merballs, and then the Wise One using his effectively, although it did take a bit of time to get synced up with his teammate. He did in the end, and then LagProne managed to secure that 3rd TagPro, swept the board with those Ts, and got that first cap of the half to get back into this. I know they're behind by 3, but this definitely buoys them, and gets them back into this, gives them the belief that they can compete and make this comeback happen. Now, more power-up battles. Bally gets the TagPro on base. The Wise One gets a rolling bomb. In fact, both teams get 1 TagPro, 1 rolling bomb, and both rollings get defused.
Watch for a potential handoff here. No, Mr. Hat's going to be able to escort Dino out, and watch for this. Merballs trying to take care of that 1 cap here, and Dino coming in with the flag, but he's going to have to double back, and somehow didn't have any opportunities to be able to cap that one. Now he's going to try to do something crazy with the boost here. Bally's going to get returned, setting up a handoff for LeBron James, and he's going to get returned. Very dangerous here for LagProne. Dino boosting off top wall. Great boost. Turbo pulling the flag out of desperation. Bally shooting in. LeBron James coming in, and that'll be a return.
The Wise One with the nice clutch return there. And LagProne just in survival mode right now. They get 2 quick grabs, none of them fruitful, and they're back into base, back to square one here. More nervous play by LagProne, but they didn't concede, and that's the difference between this half and last half. Last half, that would have been a cap for the Merballs. This half, LagProne managed to scrape out a save, keep the score at bay, and they're still behind by 3, but that's still surmountable.
Yeah, and Mr. Hat's going to get out, and this is dangerous here. He's coming out with the flag. LeBron's going to have to hit this boost. Mr. Hat off the top wall. LeBron pulling the flag, and there it is. He's going to double backwards. Wise One flaccid, and Bally's got to keep his positioning here, and watch for the bomb. He's got the bomb. That's a cap, and Merballs have countered it, and now they've restored their 4-cap lead and looking and threatening to push it even further. LeBron plugging up this boost route. Holy cow.
More irresponsible grabs from LagProne, but most of all, chasing a flag carrier like that is not something you do at the major league level. That's something that you see in the earlier levels. At this level, you just stay ahead, and against a flag carrier like Mr. Hat, no less, you can't afford those kinds of mistakes. Dino somehow evading the defender's tags, but not for long, and Bally and Turbo get that reset. Again, this defense has to get their act together. They have to start playing behind the flag carrier rather than chasing the flag carrier if they have any shot at making this comeback happen within the next 6 minutes. Now, let's see you guys interested in hearing what the Merballs have to say here. They might be scrambling. I'd be curious.
Yeah. Legman.
Case contains. Dead.
Legman, I can play D if you want to fix something.
He disconnected.
Oh, fuck.
Dave TagPro base. LagProne, go.
Is he out?
Not yet.
Nope.
Nice. We got
Alright,
it.
alright, just RB, you gotta talk extra loud.
Don't worry, I'll use my macros at the same time.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
wrong macro.
Alright, let's just you gotta be extra out, yeah.
We're good,
You gotta talk like man.
Let's go, boys.
Alright, yeah, let's go.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, I love that Legman impression. Clearly, they're having a bit of fun out there.
Yes, indeed, and with a 4-cap lead here, with just under 5 minutes to go, they can afford to have a little bit of fun. But meanwhile, LagProne trying their hardest. It could be their last half, and they've got to watch out for this rolling bomb regrab. Can they get the return? If Dino boosts into a spike or something, there would have been a cap, but Dino just sitting, return for cap with a rolling bomb, and Wise One's got to stay alive. He's heading back with his juke juice and narrowly avoids the return, and Mr. Hat just shoving Arby Bear backwards, and Ballymandius going for the power-ups here. I think they need to try to restore the... I guess he was trying to cut off that lane, but yeah, they need to get this flag back in base pronto.
And bear in mind, right now, Merballs are missing the communication of 1/4 of their team, which is huge, especially at this level of play. This could come into play here if LagProne starts mounting a comeback. This could be it right here. Legman can't talk to his teammates.
Whoa!
What a bomb by LeBron James getting past Legman. Not expected, but definitely needed. And now they managed to cut the lead down to 3 again with 3:50 left in the game. This could be the turning point right now. LeBron's
It could
bomb.
be. Wise One with this TagPro going to lead. LeBron James out past 3 if this TagPro escort works. LeBron with the juke juice. He's dangerous here. Just past 2, actually. Ron has trouble counting. But watch for this trying for an upstep. Can't quite pull it off. And Bally backs off of Dino, allowing him to get past him. We're seeing some contain mistakes here. And Turbo luckily boosting ahead to get on regrab.
Bally has been off his game tonight. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's ping. But whatever it is, it's been costing his team. Missing a return like that is clutch. I'm also kind of surprised that YS1 didn't bring the TagPro back on defense to try to lead his teammate in. He definitely had the time left on it to try to make a play happen, but instead he stayed on regrab. I guess they're looking for those chain caps rather than just securing one individual caps. But if they make those plays, they have to make them count, and they aren't making them count right now. Legman manages to split Bally and Turbo and get out. If I'm LagProne, I'm going to start playing that anti-regrab strategy.
And now this bomb is here, so Turbo's going to try to hit it, and that's going to open up a chance for Wise One to get it, and they're going to look for an aggressive return. Can they get it? They've got a shot here! Yes! They've got it! And now it's a 2-cap game with 2.5 minutes to go, and they've got a shot! LeBron James coming in with this TagPro escort. The TagPro's kiss. LeBron off the bomb. He's got 3 in base, but a TagPro by Ballymandius could open up a chance, but off the wall, going to get returned. Wise One trying to keep the train alive, but Dino getting the return. 2 minutes, 10 seconds to go, and it's a 2-cap game here.
And things couldn't get any more tense right now. LagProne really mounting their best effort for a comeback, but right now it's falling just a bit short. RB Bear nearly jukes Bally and Turbo, but nothing's happening right now. They can't make those last plays happen. Dino gets in, and he gets the cap! Dino squeezes it in, kills the momentum from LagProne, restores the 3-cap lead with less than 2 minutes left. That is giant play by Dino, leading his team by example.
Yeah, that could be yet another turning point here. Wise would come out with the flag. If they can get a return, you could be able to boost in, but you're going to have to double back. Rolling bomb coming up, picked up by Turbo. He's going to try to double around to pick up rolling regrab with that. Bally is chasing. There's the return. Turbo's going to be able to leverage this rolling and stay alive. But Legman using that TagPro. They've extended the lead once again, tying up the half, and Dino coming in with the dagger here to extend it further. Hits the boost a little bit awkwardly, but he's got some blockers here. Bally boosting in as well.
Wow, just some poor coordination right now by LagProne. They're just not getting the tags they want to get. They're not getting the jukes they want to get, and nearly surrendering another cap if not for Dino's awkward boost. Wise One playing the anti-regrab, but you got to think, is this too little too late, Ron?
Yeah, it seems like it. 50 seconds to go. I don't think you can make up 4 caps in 50 seconds against a team as dominant as the Merballs have been
All right, well,
this evening.
40 seconds left. Let's see what the Merballs have to say right now. We're sorry we didn't get to hear from LagProne, but Merballs must be celebrating. Let's hear them.
Yo, congrats, guys.
Alright,
TagPro right. You're getting TagPro right.
Yo, they're doing a listener on us right now.
Oh,
come on. He's past 3 minutes.
I'm coming in. I'm ahead.
Okay.
Don't worry, I have a plan. No, I don't have a plan.
We got a streak on the field.
Yeah, I'm out,
in,
boys.
Let's. All
He's
right.
coming
Yeah, I'm
back.
past 3,
Mid-right.
past 3.
Mid-right.
I'm getting off free.
Turns a cat.
Yo, get the Bayo. Past 2.
He's in base.
3.
Damn, I want a nut volley for the end, dude.
Oh, the streaker's in base.
Feels bad.
Someone's really salty about this streaker.
Chip flag. Chip flag.
Well, nice job, guys.
GG, boy.
9th place, boys.
And where we have it, our Super Bowl champions, the Myrtle Beach Merballs, take it into sweep LagProne for that giant win, managing to secure Dino's record fourth Super Bowl win, Legman's second, and a first inaugural Super Bowl win in Mr. Hat's rookie season. Another one for RB Barrett. Giant play by them, well deserved. And really, Ron, what else can you say about this performance? Then this was an absolute masterclass.
Oh, absolutely. The Merballs have proven that they deserve the championship title here by just having a dominant showing all evening long. Very nice play by the Merballs on each of the 2 games tonight.
And I'll admit, I expected it to be closer, especially a few times there in that second half where it looked like LeBron and Bally were mounting a comeback, but they just fell short. They just couldn't quite make it happen. And that little plays in the end were the difference makers. I mean, there were some plays where it looked like looked like Turbo might have a return, but they didn't, and it would lead to a cap. Other times where it looked like YS1 or LeBron could coordinate to get out of base, and it just really didn't happen. Those were the difference makers. That's the plays that LagProne couldn't pull off and that the Merballs were consistently pulling off. And in the end, that's all it took for the Merballs to take their Super Bowl win.
Absolutely, and the consistency is key here. I absolutely agree with you on that regard, because we saw that LagProne would mount some comebacks every once in a while, and it looked like the tide was turning. Looked like there was a turning point in the game, and they would. I mean, it was 2.5 minutes left in the game, and it was only 2 caps. Very doable on a map like Velocity, but then Merballs just picked up the slack, turned it back up. We saw a few errors on the LagProne side, and it just turned back into a one-sided game again pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, this is the mark of a truly good team, a team that doesn't let their foot off the pedal and that can keep pushing even when it looks bleak, even when it looks like the momentum is swinging in the other side. They managed to claw their way back and keep that dominating lead intact and really just demoralize LagProne. We were fearful of trying to listen into LagProne because it's just not fun listening into a team that's it's not very nice to listen into a team that's losing in such a fashion, and I think credit has to go to the Merballs for putting them in such a difficult situation and making them dig themselves out of this hole that they eventually weren't able to dig themselves out of. A huge props has to go to Merballs. Just great performance overall. It looked kind of shaky on Wormy, especially at the start, but they managed to pull through and then just put an absolutely dominating performance. It's of map velocity. Interesting result there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got the Merballs here for an interview. Let's bring him in. Just give us one moment here.
Name in the middle of the...
Yeah, he was whistleblower first.
I did notice the whistleblower thing, yeah.
What happened?
You probably should have connected that.
All right, guys, we've got the Merballs starting lineup joining us here after that amazing win.
Hello? Is this thing on? Or is
My
it still
poison finally worked.
Again, congratulations to the Merballs. KPOW, at the beginning of the season, at the onset of the season, when you put this team together, selected Dino as your designated player, and drafted this team. Did you expect to see yourself right now where you are as Super Bowl champions?
Absolutely. I mean, Dino's NPC was the only choice for me at the time, and yeah, I mean, it was the best team on paper at the start of the season. We won the preseason tournament and finished first in the season and won the Super Bowl. It went all according to plan.
Definitely, I got a lot of that confidence, and I mean, coming off of a Super Bowl victory last season, Dino and KPOW, both of you guys, managed to rekindle that kind of atmosphere and build another championship-winning team. Now, Dino, if you had to say, what's the difference between this team, this Season 9 Merballs, and that Season 8 STK?
I don't know. We probably are less toxic. And,
we could definitely hear it in the listen-ins. You guys just seem to have like a nice friendly atmosphere going on. Even when Legman, it seemed like he was out of commission. You guys just kept lighthearted about it. And
Yeah, my mumble just disconnected for
Did
like
you hear our impressions?
2 minutes.
we did actually. We caught some of those. We loved them.
let's go.
Now, Legman, you were a big part of both of these victories on Wormy and Velocity. Yourself being a former offensive MVP turned defensive MVP, did that kind of two-way skill help on a map where flag carrying is a huge asset?
Yeah, it helped a lot because I can rotate to regrab pretty comfortably and stuff like that, and I know what to do usually as the flag carrier, although I've kind of forgotten a little bit. But it ended up showing in, I think, especially the first half of the Velocity game where I ended up getting 3 caps.
Yeah, that was a huge difference maker for you guys, getting that 4-cap lead into half number 2. And somehow you guys just kept managing to battle back against the comeback attempts by LagProne. Now, a lot of credit has to go to Mr. Hat for just staying alive in so many clutch moments. You would just get cornered into these corners, and fan favorite, you just managed to survive. You were master of those micro jukes. Is that something that you practice, like these micro jukes, or is it just something that comes naturally to you?
I practice it in pubs all the time.
You do have, what, 190 degrees?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a lot of hours pubbing.
Don't make me feel bad.
But for
No
real
votes,
though, I mean,
though.
you've emerged onto the scene this season as one of the elite offensive talents, and not many people saw that coming. Did you yourself think that you'd be able to win this Super Bowl going into the season?
I didn't think so myself, but KPow before the season, before even he drafted me, he came to my channel and he asked me if I wanted to be drafted to his team. And his sales pitch was basically, we're gonna win the Super Bowl. I have Dino, and you're gonna play with him, and you're gonna tear it up this season. And I didn't think when he said Super Bowl, I thought, wait, what? You want me to play majors? And he was like, yeah, definitely. And I was like, but I'm gonna get carried by Dino. And KPow was like, well, then you'll be the lightest person anyone has ever carried. And yeah, so KPow was right from day one, so he deserves a lot of credit for that.
Well, yeah, definitely credit to KPow for building such an amazing team. And the chemistry you guys have is just second to none. We saw you guys, even without a mic, Legman and Arby, you guys just seem to be clutch returns. A couple of times it looked like LeBron, who, let it be said, has been a fantastic flag carrier all season long, led the league in hold, led the league in caps. And that just didn't seem to be a problem for you guys to deal with. Now, Arby, what happened? Like when Legman, his mic cut out, what was going through your mind there?
I didn't even notice for like first 20 seconds.
And I know, Arby, you've been in the past tasked with carrying a defense. Now, this season it seemed like you were playing in more of a support role. Did that change how your approach to playing defense?
Not really. I still play the same. It's just like Legman pushes me places he wants me to be, you know.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
It seems like you guys have it all figured out, and we don't want to delay your celebrations any longer. Again, a huge congratulations to you guys for pulling off not only a Super Bowl win, but a sweep Super Bowl win. 2 games, 2 wins, and 1 Super Bowl ring. Congratulations to the Season 9 Merballs, our Season 9 champions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Liquid.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks.
Shout out to Sec.
All right. Well, we want to send a final thank you. Hello. So
It seems like we're getting a bit of lag out of Ron's mic. So we just want to thank... We do have a few final thank yous. Yeah, there you go, Ron. But we do have a few final thank yous.
Is it coming through all right?
It is coming through all right. We do have a few final thank yous that we'd like to make. First off, I wanted to thank our analysis desk tonight. Trobal and Raven for coming in. Raven for surviving a tornado warning and managing to pull through and doing this analysis desk with us. You guys were huge. Your analysis was valuable, and we're glad that you guys got to share this stage with us tonight. Thank you to our content creators, Bali, Ledge, Sunchips, and Fly, for contributing videos to this stream. If only it had gotten longer, we would have gotten to see a couple of additional high-quality commercials for the commercial breaks. We'll make sure to post these after the game so you get to see them anyway. Pigioni for her awesome Super Bowl drawing that we saw in the build-up to the game. Again, thank you to the Pigioni. And obviously, Viles, it has to be said, this guy has been huge for us. He's the one who created that introduction video as well as the Super Bowl logo and worked very closely with us to make sure that all our content was top-notch quality. Viles, huge shout out goes to you. I also want to give a huge shout out to the entire MLTP Live crew. You guys turned this project into a labor of love. I mean, we started off as a collection of individuals, and over the course of this 12-week season, we really turned into a close family, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Pithy, you guys, you have to be the most friendly, attentive, probably the most understanding person I've ever met in my time in this community. You got a whole heart of gold, man. Never change. Ron Sponson, I mean, I gotta thank you for your leadership, your experience that helped bring MLTP Live to where it is now, and for teaching me pretty much everything I know about commentating. The streaming community wouldn't be the same without you, Ron. I want to thank Nikoba for inviting me into this project at its onset back in January. I wasn't really sold on it, but you really convinced me, and bearing with us through hours and hours of tireless nitpicking on your stream. You had a dream and a vision for this project, and you really made it happen better than any of us could have imagined. Thanks for being a true friend, Nikoba. And finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the viewers. Thank you to every single one of you guys for sticking through us through thick and thin. I have to say, none of us imagined MLTP Live would grow to where it is now, and we really couldn't have made any of this happen without you guys. I know it sounds a bit cliched, but every week, and you gave us the motivation we needed to make the stream as good as we could. I mean, this has truly been a once-in-a-lifetime project for me. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Thank you all for making this such a memorable experience, both for me and for the entire MLTP Live crew. 1,000 times thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a very eloquent speech, Liquid, and I'm going to have to echo all of what you've said, especially with the MLTP Live crew and especially with the people here in chat making this happen and making it special for us each and every week. We've had really a blast bringing all these games to you throughout the entire season with this team here, and thank you so much for the players, too, for giving us this excellent play to watch, even down to the final cap here. It was a pleasure to stream to you guys. Make sure you guys, if you want to watch more TagPro, it's not over for the season. You can watch the Merballs tomorrow at twitch.tv/MinorLTP Live. But this is going to be the final time that I'm doing this for the season, but we're going to have to sign off. This is Ron Sponson, and we'll see you guys all next season.